Sci-fi is short for science fiction. Science fiction is based on future scientific advances and major social and environmental changes. However, when we talk about sci-fi movies, they aren't just science involved. Over the years, sci-fi has evolved into a collage of science, fantasy, and superheroes. A better definition of sci-fi is the real world mixed with the supernatural. Sci-fi dated back to the early 20th century for films. Sci-fi started in the silent era with the first film Le Voyage dans la Lune in 1902. Le Voyage dans la Lune was the film to pave the way for special effects. In the 1930s and the 1940s, sci-fi books had a big impact on the film industry. Books like Frankenstein by Mary Shelley
It's moving. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Sci-fi and horror films were the best of friends during this time. Also at high demand was futuristic adventures like the Phantom Empires. In the 1950s, sci-fi hit a plateau because of the war. On the flip side is the atomic bomb and apocalyptic theme strongly influenced sci-fi films. Destination Moon was strongly influenced by the war. The popularity from Destination Moon skyrocketed money budgets for sci-fi films. Another theme that was popular in the 50s was aliens and sci-fi monsters, like the film The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms. At the beginning of the 1960s, sci-fi films hit another plateau. Towards the end of the 60s, though, sci-fi started picking up again with the movies Fahrenheit 451, Fantastic Voyage, Planet of the Apes, and Sci-Fi Odyssey. In the 1970s and the 1980s is the decade for sci-fi films. A lot of films that were produced had the themes of paranoia with the threat against humanity and conspiracy thrillers. Some of the greatest movies for sci-fis were made in the 70s. Star Wars.
An adventure unlike anything on your planet. Star Wars.
Here they come. Coming in too fast!
Superman and Star Trek, the motion picture, were all huge hits, making sci-fi a very popular genre. In the 90s, the internet was born, creating a new subgenre called cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is set in a lawless subculture of an oppressive society dominated by computer technology. The Matrix movies are the great example of cyberpunk. Another thing the internet gave us was better software that vastly improved sci-fi movies. By the time sci-fi hit the 2000s, films were more fantasy-based than space-based. Superheroes were very popular. Today, sci-fi is one of the most dominating genres because of technology.